This is George St. Pierre. Remember, this is George St. Pierre, GSP, right? So GSP tries to like get him to sit back in his stool. Here, sit back a bit. Bro, he's out. The only man I've ever seen do this to someone. Bill the Butcher Mahood. We're about to take a little trip down memory lane here and look at an old school fight of one of the pioneers of MMA here in Western Canada, the great Bill Mahood. This fight takes place in Montreal. This is TKO 15. So those of you that know the whole GSP, David Loiseau type story, you've heard a lot about TKO and UCC. Well, it was an oftentimes in the TKO situation, it was either America versus Eastern Canada or Western Canada versus Eastern Canada. And the Western Canadian story has not really been told very much. So I'm going to start shedding a little bit of light on some of my mentors and the people I think are the founding fathers of MMA here on the west coast of Canada. And might as well start at the top, right? None other than Bill the Butcher Mahood. What a beast of a human.
My name's Bill the Butcher Mahood. I'm out of Prince George, British Columbia, PG Fight Club. I'm here to destroy Jan Pellerin on my quest for the TKO light heavyweight belt.
Bill Mahood was a monster. PG Fight Club. This is way back in the day. This is where I got my start. This is one of the first cards that I fought on as well. Well, not first, but like first couple years of me fighting. So this is like 2003, I think, 2003. So early days. You'll probably see me. You might see me in the corner. I don't remember, but you'll definitely see Mr. Dennis Kang in the corner. Another person that I'm going to highlight eventually here. Now, this wasn't the song that he actually came out to. Bill Mahood would always be coming out to AC/DC, Thunderstruck, or Hell's Bells. Look at that face, bro. Just mean, bro. This dude was mean. I'm telling you, like, he was an amazing person out of the cage, but one of the nastiest human beings to ever enter an MMA spectacle. Here we see a very young George St. Pierre in his corner. In the early days, man, we would fight these guys all the time. Like East vs. West, man. I even made a song about it. Dennis Kang, the illustrious Dennis Kang, in the corner here. He was just on a tear at this time, too, just ripping people apart. Okay, Bill's claim to fame, not at this time, but a little after this, would be that he would be 13. I believe he went 13-3 at one point, and all 13 fights were won by either KO or TKO, and it was all ground and pound. He was an absolute savage on top of people.
In the blue corner, Bill Mahood.
So I want to say he's probably about 36 at this point. He got into MMA, well, NHB at this point. It's still called NHB. He got into it a little later in life because it wasn't in existence when he was young. He started fighting professionally at 34 years old, and I met him at 35. So this is likely him at 36 here, which is interesting because like this is right around the age that I am. I'm 40 now, right? But it's interesting to watch him when he was like the guy in Canada and at around the same age that I am now. It's pretty interesting. Now, Bill didn't have the best boxing, right? He wasn't the best boxer. He had like some, he had a black belt in Taekwondo, he had a black belt in Hapkido, and he had a wealth of experience as like a bouncer and fighting on the street. Prince George is a pretty rough town for those of you that know Prince George, BC. You know it is a pretty roughneck town. So he's got a lot of street experience, and I think that's kind of where we all were in the beginning of this whole thing. It was just a bunch of like tough dudes that didn't want to go to jail but wanted to fight. He's like smiling at the guy, throws a front kick in his face, just smiles at him. Now, Bill, I think he had maybe one KO from the feet, but his real specialty, which kind of just developed over time, was he was just an absolute animal on top of people. Now he had pretty good jiu-jitsu. If he had like a strong wrestling foundation, he would have been an absolute monster, and he would have won like way more fights. Um, but as you can see here, we didn't have a lot of wrestling knowledge. He's just like, oh, I'm just gonna guillotine you. If I can't stop your takedown, I'm just gonna guillotine you, right? Which this isn't the best answer, especially the angles that he's using the guillotine. But again, this is 2003, so we had nowhere near the knowledge that we have nowadays. This is him like learning and figuring it out on the fly. Goes for a scissor sweep here. He would eventually be able to get on top of people. That's generally what happens. Bill had absolutely phenomenal cardio and just ridiculous level of durability. So people would often get tired, like beating him up, right? Like on top of him, trying to ground and pound him and hold him down. Maybe trying to get up and trying to sweep him and try to tap him. Eventually, he would find his way on top of the person. And once he did, it was absolutely over. Like, knock you out quick. I don't remember exactly how. I think I remember how this fight went. I'm not going to spoil it, but um, it was quite interesting, the finish. But you can see, like, we really, like, not a lot of hip movement for Bill off the bottom. We really didn't know very much at all. Like, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu now under Viviano Fernandez. Like, we both like learned and grew together. But at this point, neither of us even knew a black belt. Oh, actually, that's not the case. That's sounds good, but it's not true. Dennis Kang is a black belt in jiu-jitsu by this point, under Marcus Soares, and that's the guy that's in his corner. That's the guy that he's mainly he's training with when he's doing his training camps, which would usually be done in Vancouver. Although we lived in Prince George, he would leave for like 3 weeks at a time, and I would run the club, and then he would be down in Vancouver, training and living with Dennis, and just boxing with Tony Pep, and training wrestling with Nick Iguala, and training jiu-jitsu under Marcus Soares. And that was the real beginnings of the MMA scene in Vancouver, was those three people, right? Tony Pep, Nick Iguala, and Marcus Soares. At least from the guys that were really winning. Like there was Lance Gibson, and there was Chris Franco, both very skilled in their own right, but they weren't producing people quite at the level of this. Again, pretty easy takedown from Jan. Oh, Bill's trying to work his way to the triangle, but gets his foot blocked. I think at this point, the people on the East Coast had access to a lot more information than we did, which is why you see that the initial rise of the Canadians was mainly focused on the East Coast, right? George St. Pierre's, David Loiseau, Mark Hominick, Sam Stout, all these guys are more east, like Toronto and Montreal. We had some good guys come out of the West as well. We had Calder Gill come out of the West, Blake Fredrickson come out of the West, but nobody was in UFC really from the West until Jason McDonald and Dennis Kang went there. Bill also had a fight with Jason McDonald, those of you that remember Jason. And they actually had two fights, pretty awesome fights, and I would hopefully I'll be able to find them one day and break those down. You can see Bill just chasing this guillotine here, easy takedown, and then Jan's not really able to do much on top. Bill wasn't really able to do much off the bottom. He's trying to threaten some sweeps and some get-ups and some subs, but not a lot there. Like, we really didn't know how to wrestle at all in Prince George. We had no access to wrestling information. But you can see here, he's dead, man. He is dead. Jan Pellerin is completely tired and fatigued now, and Bill's just getting started. Like, he's just fresh as a daisy here. He was just an animal. He was an animal with conditioning. Like, the things that he would put me through and do beside me, running in front of me, just, I couldn't catch the guy. For years, I couldn't catch him. It really helped me to have somebody like that to chase and try to emulate. Let's see what Bill can do now that Jan's a little bit more gassed here. Like Bill, like backhand down on throwing his front hand. His knees were nasty. His knees were really nasty. He didn't have the best clinch, but he could knee really hard. So all those knees that you just saw may not really look like much, but those hurt, man. Especially if you're already gassed. You can see that Jan's a little soft too, hey, and just gets an easy double, pulls it out. Like the wrestling acumen is by no means easy, or by no means equal. Sorry, Carol used to say like, "What's my favorite takedown? That's my favorite takedown." Almost like like taking people down was like beneath us, you know. But over time, we changed and evolved together. Started being able to work with better guys. I'm not even sure if Nick was in the picture yet here. Nick Iguala really helped with the wrestling. I want to say that's a little bit more 2004, 2005, but Bill had some good. There's a lot of Bill's fights that are just not online. Like, unfortunately, all the worst ones are online. Not this one. This one is actually the once you see Bill get to where he shines here, you're gonna see some pretty awesome stuff. I know that so far it's not like ultimately interesting, but this is the enigma of Bill Mahood, right? Is like if he gets on top of you once, like you might, number one, you probably won't be able to kill him. And number two, if he gets on top once, like you're dead. Oh man, that was so bad. But oh, what's this? Oh no, and he stays in the turtle. Damn. Well, I know that eventually here he does do his thing, and we're gonna get to see the enigma in action. It's just biding his time. Just old boy, you can't kill. Oh, goes for a rolling knee bar. Look at this leg locking back then, right? Like we were down with the rolling knee bar way back then. We would just do whatever we could find their technique on. Oh, here's a Kimura attack. Oh, and gets into the half guard with it. Let's see if he can turn him over. I don't remember how he turns him, but I know he does get a turn at some point. You can just get that hand out. Oh man, if you just shrimp back and stepped over, it'd be money. You step over to the whatever choi bar, I guess people call it now. Look at the get-ups, right? This is back in the day. Like he had a Kimura locked up from the bottom. They'll just stand you up regardless. Oh, and Bill shoots his own takedown. Ooh, and then knee the body and knee the body again. Oh, he did not like that at all. He did not like that. Oh, fishing for the guillotine still. So we really didn't have much answers, man. We didn't have many answers at all for takedowns. I think I fought on this card as well, and I fought a teammate actually of Jan Pellerin. Me and Bill would do this all the time. We'd like both book fights on the same thing, and just he'd corner me and then he'd fight. It's just a monster. You don't see that anymore. You don't see people doing that anymore. Just like corner their student and then fight right after, like, and be a legit wicked corner man. We used to I used to have a lot of success with this hip to hip or chest to chest sweep in MMA, even though like everybody knows it, and like after white belt, you probably never actually have it work. But oh, what's happening here? Oh, now can he get it? Oh, he gets the shoulder sweep. Oh no. And then just like absolute, like, look at this, just raw savagery. Like he's trying to absolutely explode your head with every single shot. So much like intention behind every single weapon. And that's the end of the round. Like, so how long was he on the back there? Okay, 15 seconds, 14 seconds, 13 seconds, 12. Okay, so 12 seconds of just pure devastation. Just savage. Oh, like, die. Those shots are so hard, I'm telling you. Oh, he was only on top for 12 seconds. Now, let's see what happens here. Tell me if anybody else has ever seen this happen before. Has anybody else ever seen that happen where you smash a dude's head so hard they stumble back to the corner and then get knocked out? When does that happen? Bill the Butcher Mahood, the only man I've ever seen do this to someone. And this dude is like 10 years younger than him too. He's like 36 at this point. This dude's like 20. Like they're trying to revive him. He's all screwed up. He's all screwed up. Oh. Oh no. Look, George. This is George St. Pierre, remember. This is George St. Pierre, GSP. Right? So GSP tries to like get him to sit back in his stool. Here, sit back a bit. Bro, he's out. Look at that. Bro, look, he's like out, bro. Like I know I'm an animal a bit for laughing, but like, oh my god, trying to shove him back in the ring. He's out, man. Like that's bad for your brain. That's real bad for your brain. That's not good, and that's what sets up Bill's title shot with Patrick Cote, which he actually fought Patrick Cote for a title twice. Let's see this again. Bill's like trying to just grab a hold of him. Such bad wrestling. And then Sumigashi, right? Sumigashi. Not that we knew it was called Sumigashi back then. And then what is this? Goes for a rolling knee bar, it looks like. And on a Kimura, nothing materializes out of it. And then, are they even going to show it? They better show it. Because, like, those knees hurt, by the way. Those knees hurt. These shots. Ball. Just the torque. Oh, the torque of those shots. Oh my god, that one. Watch this. Oh, that shot. Okay, so when he goes under the armpit, watch the under the armpit. This one. Around and under. Bang! You can just see his head get locked. Oh man. Devastating, bro. Devastating. Posture. And for those of you that think that was back of the head, that's not the back of the head. He's clipping ears, right? And even this spot back here, you're actually allowed to hit that. You're just not allowed to hit the 2-inch line from the crown down to the top of your hips, right? That whole line of your spine, 2 inches. That's the only strip. It's like you had a mohawk, right? But it starts from right there, all the way down. Those of you that were around for this day and age, like, you're really blessed because something like this will just never happen again. You know, the scene in Canada is really dope now, and like we're at our most evolved point. Like we're about to make a huge run again, but this time, man, everyone was just so real. Mahood! 12 seconds. He was on top for 12 seconds, and the dude, after walking back to his stool, fell asleep. Insane. Thanks for watching. I'm hoping to do some more of these. So let me know in the comments if you like them. And even if you don't, I'm gonna do them anyway because everybody needs to know about what happened on the west coast of Canada, the west side of the MMA story in Canada, which is untold. And people like this man need to be held up, need to be put on a pedestal because without people like him, there wouldn't be a scene here. Bill Mahood coached fighters, was a fighter, got to the UFC, created fighters that got to the UFC, me, and also ran shows, would run cards and fight on the same damn cards and coach people on the same damn cards all at the same time. What a man. What a man. And there's a few of these people on the west coast of Canada that we need to talk about.
Peace.